We were discussing earlier the involvement of women at Aintree, with Carrie Ford making headlines all over the place and now down to 10-1 on board Forest Gunner for tomorrow's Grand National. Well, Lydia has been looking back through the history books.
From Dorothy Paget, owner of Golden Miller, to the Grand Dame of Aintree, Mirabel Topham, off the racecourse, women have featured heavily in the Aintree story. Jenny Pitman had the chance to make national history in 1983 as the trainer of the much-fancied Corbière.
I'm not a woman's liver, but if I'm an old grandma and I've got my grandchildren coming round to me and that my boys said to them, oh, you know, your granny, you know, was the first woman to train a national winner, then that would give me a lot of pride, yes.
It's Corbière from Rees, and Corbière's won it. Corbière's the winner from Rees.
And the first woman to train a national winner repeated the feat in 1995 with Royal Athlete. But the Jockey Club only permitted women to ride under rules from 1972. Mariel Tufnell won the inaugural race. In 1976, Muriel Norton was the first to compete over fences, and Diana Thorne the first to win. That year, women also rode at Aintree for the first time. Charlotte Brew was the first to tackle the national fences, finishing fourth in the Fox Hunters on Barony Fort. But in 1977, there were bigger obstacles to face off the course than on it, when she declared her wish to run in the National itself.
I think the idea of amateurs, and particularly women without experience, well, this is the Grand National. It's the greatest race in the world.
My advice to Charlotte would be to be in the Eurovision Song Contest, not riding around Liverpool.
This is something that just shouldn't be allowed to happen with somebody who's purely riding in the race as a result of a whim.
The whole public are saying that you're going to be the next disaster. What do you think about that?
Well, they can get stuffed.
Brew and Barony Fort went off at 200-1, but she made it round one circuit before the horse refused at the fourth last.
In all the years it's been raced, no woman rider has managed to complete the famous course. This year, two will try.
So in 1982, attention switched from Brew to Geraldine Rees, described as
a 26-year-old housewife with the looks. It was generally agreed to become a Page 3 girl. More important, she can ride.
Cheers was the horse who carried her into the record books, but he finished exhausted and might, in other hands, have been pulled up.
He's getting every encouragement from the crowd. You'd think this horse had won the National. 26-year-old Geraldine Rees from Southport is riding him up to the line. She's the first woman rider to do it.
I think that probably they still thought that it was a woman just getting round, but nevertheless, I'd done it, and I'm very fortunate. Everybody was very supportive of me.
Best looking jockey I've seen.
Then, 6 years later, it was G. Armytage's turn to give the men a fright.
Well, here's G. Armytage, rider of GA, of course. 33-1 shot for the race. One of these days, a woman's going to win the National.
I hope so.
Yes, Lannerai with the advantage from GA. G. Armytage having a fantastic ride at the moment.
GA and G. Armytage are leading the Grand National field.
Despite leading after the first circuit, she had to pull up at the fourth last. In 1995, 51-year-old Rosemary Henderson achieved the highest placing to date by a woman, finishing fifth on Fiddler's Pike.
Oh, he's a wonderful jumper, he really is, and he went terribly well. And I'm ashamed to say I'm not very puffed at the end, which means I obviously didn't kick too hard.
Last year, Carrie Ford became the third woman to win over the big fences. This year, she surely has the best chance a woman has yet had of winning the National itself.
Carrie Ford, she had a baby 10.5 weeks ago, and what another celebration today as she comes home with the Fox Hunters. It's Forest Gunner who comes on to score well.